everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are doing something a little different. So as you know, my 4,000 subscriber giveaway, I did the Q&A thing again, and the reason for that was the last time I did a Q&A was 2,000 subscribers ago, so there's 2,000 new people watching my channel, and so I thought it would be fun for anyone new or even who's been around to ask questions that maybe weren't answered last time or they just want to know. So yeah, I have a printed stack of questions next to me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, trees. I was originally going to do it scrolling through my tablet, but I noticed that the order changes sometimes depending on if someone, adds a reaction or a thumbs up. So I just printed a hard copy of everything since the comments are closed. Now I do hope I answer everyone's question. I honestly do my best, just like with the last Q&A. There are over 200 in here, but there's also like a total of 220 something comments. Not all questions. I did have a lot of you who just left really sweet comments, saying that you weren't entering, but you wanted to just say hi or leave something like that. So what I'm going to do is, so that you have something to watch, and technically this is my Whip Wednesday slot, I'm working on this double page spread in Flowerscape. I'm trying to finish it by filling in the background. So as you can see, it's all done. I had sprayed it with a workable fixative so I didn't smudgy the Prisma. And now I'm just going through and adding this dark blue. It's just indigo. And oh my gosh, I'm going to go through this whole pencil. But I figured, you know what, this is perfect because it's mindless work. I can answer these questions, and then as I come to a winner, I will actually announce that they are the winner, except for our grand prize winner. I'm going to put her at the back, actually. Gotta wait and see. I thought it would be kind of fun since everyone has filled out the form. I already have your contact information, so that way it's a surprise to everyone. So yeah, let me dive in. Hopefully you guys don't mind this. I will also put a congratulations message out a little bit after this post for those of you who don't feel like watching it, but I'm hoping you guys will watch since you all asked the questions. So let's dive in. Okay, now I will apologize if I butcher names. I'm awful at it, but the first question is from, I want to say it's Ina Delvaux. Hope I said that right. And the reason I hope I said that right is because Ina is our fourth winner. So first question is one of the winners. So I will be emailing based on the email address given to me on the form to get your address information and send you your copy of Flowerscape. Now the question was, do you still have the first picture you ever colored in an adult coloring book, and can we see it, please? I do. So my first coloring book ever was Color Me Cluttered. Now after this, I bought Johanna Basford, and that was my first big name artist, as we'll call it. But this was my first one that I got. It's by Darrell Godfrey. I actually really like this. I purchased the book again. So it's straight up chaotic, cluttered scenes, which is funny because my OCD is like, but I thought it would be fun to show you guys this because this would be one of the first pages. I just got to find it. I've colored off and on in here. That's not one of them, but it's close to it. See, 2016. But hang on. I still have so many to color in this. I might actually go back. It was a daunting book, I'm not gonna lie. This one here is actually my first picture colored in this book, and the reason I remember that is I was using these cheap crappy pencils that I'm sure they don't even make anymore. It was like 150, and yeah, this is the first thing I've ever colored. Like no shading, just yeah. And then here's some others. These were all colored while I was in the hospital with my daughter. So really, they were all done around the same time. As you can see, I didn't even finish because some of them I was just getting like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. But yeah, like no shading, no nothing. I was just kind of going crazy there. I will link in the description below. This is a really fun book. Like I said, I rebought it because I wanted to redo some pages. But it has like really cool, it's just clutter. But, oh, I forgot I had done that one too. But yeah, it's just fun. I do like coloring scenes like this, you know? It's just very chaotic and very busy, and they will take you a while. But yeah, these are my first coloring. So, so that answers that. Okay, now let me get my pencil. Okay, so Stephanie. Yeah, inquiring minds would like to know, has the mystery of the escaping husky been solved? So when I read that question, I straight up, like legit LOL'd on that one. And the reason for that is I literally just got back from capturing the escaping husky. So no, the mystery hasn't been solved whatsoever. She's still getting out. Basically, she's digging holes under the fence line. We don't have grass right now, so it's making it a lot easier. My husband's going to go around and basically do a curbing with concrete around our entire fence line so she stops it. But yeah, she's still escaping. The backyard looks very, so awful right now. You just see like wooden planks and logs and everything just lining the fence so she can't dig a hole. But that's how she's getting out. She just finds an area and starts digging. So we're actually going to invest in one of those GPS collars, so if she gets out, it like alerts us that she's left the perimeter. And yeah, I don't know. I got nothing. I'm meeting so many neighbors thanks to my escaping dog. That's all I gotta say. All right, Daylight 69. Have you ever lost your coloring mojo, and what do you do to get it back if you do? Yeah, I mean, we all lose our coloring mojo. Usually the first thing I reach for is mandalas and my glitter gel pens. I often use those as a way to just kind of mindlessly color so that I'm still coloring, and I don't know, something about them is soothing. I don't focus on shading. Half the time I don't even focus on color palettes. I just pick whatever colors I'm feeling, and I'll do 1, 2, 3, sometimes like 12 in a day, until I'm recharged. Other times, if I'm still not feeling it, I just work on swatching. Swatching tends to get me in the mood because I've been trying to redo a lot of my swatch charts, so that gets me in the mood to, like, you know, want to go play with that pencil or medium, so I do that as well. Other times I just take a straight break, play like a video game or read a book or just watch TV. It comes back. My thing is just don't force it. Tanya Kramis asked, I'm really new to coloring, so my question for you is, when looking for a new coloring book, printed or download, what do you consider to be must-haves and why, and how do you pick? I like a variety of books. I think a variety kind of helps you not get into a coloring slump. So I look for florals, I look for houses, I look for portraits. Honestly, I look for everything. But the one thing I like to do is first I'll look on wherever I'm purchasing from and see if they show enough pictures. And if most of those pictures are something I would color, then I'll buy it. If not, I'll look on YouTube for flip throughs of the book. And as long as like 90% of that book is something I would color, I'll buy it. And then that's really how I pick. I just want to make sure it's something I like. And other times you just have to order from Amazon because sometimes there aren't flip throughs. Or like Book Depository, they have like no pictures, and I just have to order it and see if I like it. If not, I save it either for a giveaway, you know, gift it to a friend, or I return it. But yeah, I tend to always go, I don't gravitate towards one style. I've got quite an eclectic collection. Random things like everything from fashion to fairy and whimsical to very realistic. So I like a variety because my mood can change. See, Carol asked, what is your family's favorite meal for you to prepare? Well, I would have to say it's when I make my lasagna. Everyone seems to be in agreement with my lasagna. I prefer to make my enchiladas, but they aren't on the same page there. So I would have to say it's my lasagna, and it's just usually a veggie one. Jennifer Gordon, let's see. I am, just FYI, I know a lot of you have left like really sweet comments before your question, but since there's so many and I don't want to like hold everyone up, I'm kind of skipping over that part and just reading the question, but please don't think that I am by any means discarding those kind comments. In fact, they were all incredibly sweet and thoughtful, so I did appreciate every single one of those, and I hope you guys know that. I just didn't want, if I read every single one, kind of like our last Q&A, it would just be a lot. So just keep that in mind. So Jennifer Gordon asks, let's see. Oh, okay. She had found my channel using my coloring gold tutorial. So her question is, do I have a Prismacolor combo for silver? So Jennifer, I do. However, I am kind of reworking it because it was done back in the day and I've been toying around with a few new combos, but I do plan to make a video for that because it was requested. So you should see one soonish. I say soonish because I have quite the list of videos to get out. Let's see. Taylor Fulkerson asks, when doing your gel pen mandalas, how do you pick the color palettes while keeping it stress-free? Yeah, so kind of like I just mentioned a bit ago, I actually don't usually pick a color palette. If I'm really struggling, I'll use Sarah Renee Clark's, random color palette picker, and I'll just literally go random with it and pick gel pens that match. Other times, I'll just grab one color and then pick like 2 or 3 others that I like to go with it and call it a day. Like, no thought to it. Let's see. Beatrice Aguilion. I hope I said that right, because Beatrice is actually our number 3 winner. So congratulations to Beatrice. I will be emailing you and getting your address to send you your copy of Flowerscape. So the question was, what helps you pick your color palette when you start a page? I have so much trouble, I just stare at a page and then go find a tutorial and follow that, or at least most of it. Yeah, so color palettes, how I usually start is I don't always use palettes, like pre-picked palettes. Instead, I pick a focal point. Like, there's always a page when I'm picking a page to color, there's always something that draws me to that page. For example, this page here that I'm coloring in, it was these flowers that was what jumped at me. So I focused on the colors for this, and then after I colored that, I started picking my greens and my surrounding flowers based on that. That's often how my palettes are created. It starts with the part that drew me to the page, and I color that in first, and then I just develop it from there. I really don't like to pre-plan my palette too much. I do on a live stream, so you guys aren't sitting there watching me fiddle around, although I might just start winging it on live streams as well, because I find when I pre-pick an entire page's palette, I actually lose my coloring mojo. I need it to develop along with me, I guess, is the thing. All right. Jane Mays asks, what is your best tip or resource or video, including on your channel for... Oh, it got cut off. I'm going to put a star next to that one, and I will come back to that one because it looks like it got cut off for some reason. Okay. Sonia Rosito asked, what style of coloring book do you tend to stay away from purchasing? So like I said, I do like a variety, but there are that I tend to avoid, although I still end up buying them anyways. Like the ones with hidden objects, like the mythographics and Kirby Roseanne's, I avoided for a really long time because I just don't like all that clutter with the hidden objects. But that said, I've been buying more and more of them and just kind of, incorporating them or basically pretending they don't even exist. I've been buying more of Kirby's books because he is doing less of that stuff. I love his doodly busy stuff. I just don't like all the clutter. So those I tend to avoid. I also am not really into like the Disney ones and whatnot. I know, gasp. It's not my thing. I've tried them and I'm just like, I can't do this. So let's see, DCA asks, what is the first art supplies you fell in love with or you just couldn't get enough of? It could even be something you had in your childhood. So for that one, the first coloring supply that I actually fell in love with was my Prismacolors. They were the first artist grade supply I got. And I just absolutely loved them. Well, actually, at first I hated them, but that was because I was like trying to use them coming off of Marco Raffine's. But once I got the hang of them, yep, I'm still in love with them and still use them to this day. Riley Silver asks, what is your least favorite thing to color? I don't really have like a actual thing that's my least favorite to color. I had to think on that one and I was just like, because honestly it depends on my mood. Like right now, if you asked me to color something from a Kirby book, I would say no, but if some days I'm in the mood and I'm ready to tackle a Kirby page. So that one, there's really never anything that is my least favorite. Now there's things that I kind of hold off on doing, like coloring skin, just because it's a little daunting for me, but I still color it, obviously. You guys have seen portraits on my channel. So it's really more of a mood-based. Stacy D, or Stacy XD, sorry. Do you ever get overwhelmed by the amount of supplies you have? You would think so. And sometimes yes, but not really. I almost more just feel guilty that they're not getting love more than just overwhelmed at their presence. Heather In says, if you can only have one pencil, what color is the most happy making for you? That would be my aquamarine from Prismacolor. It's my favorite, and it's close to my favorite color in general. So yes, if I could only have that one, that would be the only one that I would dance away with, and it would be the Prisma one. Tiffany Totally Colors asks, what made you start coloring? For me, I started to help with my anxiety and panic attacks. So yeah, so this is kind of why I wanted to do the Q&A, because there's, like I said, 2,000 new subscribers who might not know my entire story, and this is a perfect example. So I actually started coloring because I was going to have a C-section with my youngest, and I was going to have a long hospital stay and a long recovery. Our master bedroom at the time was on the 3rd level, so there was no way I was going to leave my master, so I was going to be stuck up there, stuck in the hospital, and so I was looking for things to pass the time, because one can only watch so much TV. And so I had seen adult coloring, and so I had grabbed just 2 books, a cheapy set of pencils. When I got home from the hospital, I ordered Marco Raffine's and Johanna Basford's Secret Garden because I ended up enjoying that Color Me Happy or Color Me Cluttered book so much. So yeah, it was just kind of out of necessity so that I didn't stay or go crazy. So Naomi C. Art, let's see, I know she had a question. You know, I think it's in, it might be later, but I'm going to X that one just in case I need to expand it. Some of these didn't expand when I printed them. Okay. Let's see, Teresa Goodwin asked, what is the ugliest picture that you feel was your worst work, and can we see it? Honestly, all those in my Color Me Cluttered that I just showed you are my ugliest. I'm not exactly thrilled with those. They are definitely my first works and not my best. So yeah, those. Let's see. Lynn Malpass says, which are your favorite pencils to use on specific books? I find that some pencils work better than others in certain books, even by the same illustrators. So yeah, that is a good point. I mean, you all know my favorite pencil is Prismacolor. However, I actually don't use Prisma in every book. For example, Hannah Carlson, my favorite pencil to use in her books on her paper is Polychromos and the 120 square Brute Fooners. They perform really well on that paper. Now, if a paper can take my Prismas, then my Prismas are always going to be my favorite. But it really just depends on the book. So yeah, like Hannah Carlson, I tend to always use Polychromos or some sort of oil-based pencil. Let's see, like Kirby books, I tend to use my Prismas. I find they work okay in there. This book here, Flowerscape, for example, does great. Johanna Basford, I have been able to use Inktense all the way to Prisma, to Polys. Just about anything works on those ones. So hopefully that helps. I mean, this question could literally become a video. So I'm trying not to draw that one out. Let's see. I'm looking. Sorry, I printed them all out, so I'm skipping over the ones that weren't questions. Gencendiary, hopefully I said that right. What is the best way for a heavy-handed colorist to regulate pressure? So if you're really heavy-handed and you want to do light, then hold your pencil back as far as possible. It's like nearly impossible to put heavy pressure. Then hold it towards the middle if you're trying to go medium pressure, and then obviously you can hold it up close. That's the best way when you're new to it and you're trying to control. I'm a heavy-handed colorist, but I can control my light pressure. Like example, so holding it far back, you know, that's as much as I'm gonna get. I come more to the center, I can put down more color. Come up close, I can be as heavy-handed as I want. That said, over the years, I've learned to just control myself, and I can be light-handed, still holding it there. Do I like doing that? No, because that means I have to layer. But it is what it is. You know, I just realized I need to add a different scrap paper. I'll just stick that one there for now. Okay. So yeah, that was what I would suggest. Malin Cup asks, what books give you anxiety to start to color? So that would definitely be like Kirby books. Those things give me a panic attack. They're just so detailed and insane. Oops, broke my tip there. And like I said, I really need to be in the mood to tackle a Kirby page, and that mood does not come often. All right. Let's see. Okay, so Diane Lloyd asks, I'd like to know if you consider yourself a collector as well as a colorist. I already own more arty stuff than I could ever use in a lifetime, but I still eagerly await the next new book or set of pencils. Are you the same? Yes. So like I've always said, I believe collecting and coloring and art are all separate hobbies. Because I do collect. I mean, I too have more supplies than I could ever use up in a lifetime, although I'm trying to use them up more. And same thing, like I have so many books, but yet I still find myself taking time to buy the latest book. And, you know, it's about what makes you happy. Like, I buy a book, but there may not be a book that I completely finish. Do I want to finish one though one day? Yes, that would be really nice. Let's see. Going through here. Okay, Karen Silver asks, how many hours a week do you spend preparing for your channel, both in making videos, editing, and all the miscellaneous stuff behind the scenes? So as of late, because I've been putting out so much content, I'm honestly spending over 40 hours a week on my channel right now between the videos, Instagram, my new Discord, my Facebook group, and then just preparing my videos, filming my videos, editing my videos. Yeah, I've definitely broken 40 hours a week right now. But it's been fun. But yeah, it's been a lot of hours. See, Melissa Crawford says, my question, besides skin, what are you uncomfortable coloring on a video during a live? So yeah, skin is one that I'm just kind of, let's see, what else would I say would be one that I'm kind of uncomfortable? You know, backgrounds. I'm not the best at backgrounds. I tend to avoid them. So I really want to start doing more backgrounds and just having fun with it. But yeah, those ones get me a little nervous. Mega Mirdianto, I'm so sorry, I probably butchered that. My question is, do you prepare your color palette beforehand or do you just go with the flow? So I kind of already answered that. Like I said, I pick a focal point and I pick the colors for that, and then I just kind of let it go from there. So I guess I am more of a go with the flow type. Oh, and she did request a tutorial on lighting and shadow, which I will do, yes. So let's see. Allie J, what mythical creature do you wish actually existed? I remember that one. I actually wish there were unicorns. Because when I was a little girl, I had really hoped that unicorns were a real thing, and I was really bummed when they weren't. And my daughter is really into unicorns, so I always like joke with her. I'm like, you know, there could be an island somewhere far away where unicorns are just sitting there. We don't know. So I'm going to say it could still happen. Let me just have my happy thoughts. All right. Nicole's Happy Place. What's your favorite videos to film for the channel? I've actually really enjoyed doing the hair series because I like coloring hair. It's very therapeutic for me, so it's been really fun doing all the different colors and coming up with them. Hopefully you guys aren't bored to death with so many hair tutorials, but those ones I've enjoyed. Sonia says, my question is, what's your favorite YouTube channel that isn't art related? Ooh, so I don't really have a YouTube channel that's not art related. I'll be honest, I only watch YouTube for coloring and art. Like my kids watch YouTube for other reasons, but yeah, I don't actually watch YouTube outside of that. That's literally all I watch on there. So I wish I had a cooler answer than that. Just Being Beth said, what medium haven't you tried that you would like to? Now, medium-wise, I wasn't sure if you meant like actual medium, you know, because there's different medium, meaning a paint, pencil, or if you meant like a certain brand. I've tried most mediums at least once, and I have a lot of various like random mediums, but I'm trying to think if there's like a specific category of mediums I haven't tried, and I can't think of one. Now, if you meant like a certain brand or pencil or something to that effect, you know, that list gets mighty big. I mean, because there's all sorts of things out there. Like I still want to try the Pablos and stuff like that, but I'm trying to think of a medium. Because yeah, I mean, I've tried like everything from gel crayons to acrylic paints to oils. I haven't used oils in years, and by years I mean since high school art class. So, you know, oh, you know, one I haven't tried is like tea staining, like pages. I've seen people do that to their coloring pages. That would be actually one. I don't know if that counts as a medium. Let's see. Michelle Parton asks, what got you started in the coloring world? So like I explained before, it was, you know, just out of necessity. I needed something to occupy me while I dealt with recovering from my C-section. So yeah, that's kind of what got me started, and then it was just down that rabbit hole I went. So, but I'm glad that I discovered it. Moni Color asks, how long have you been coloring and what made you pick up coloring in the first place? We pretty much covered what made me start it. So how long have I been coloring? My youngest is 5 and I was pregnant with her, so probably almost 6 years now, I would say. But, well, that one was dated 2016. So yeah, let's just do the math from there. Danielle Loves Coloring asks, what is the longest time it took you to finish a page in any book in your collection? Well, that's like a two-pronged thing. Like, are we talking just in hours because it was complicated or because I didn't want to finish it? Because I have a Kirby page that I kept, like, you know, I'd do a little here, do a little there, and then I would put it away for sanity and come back. So that one took like several months. But if you're just talking straight up page and coloring it, like this, actually this flowerscape one, I would have to say is by far my longest. With all the different layers and colors, I started this one at the very end of July, and here we are. Today is August 31st, and I'm still finishing it up, and I've been working on it little by little every day, but just with all the layers and the colors. So this one is by far the longest that I've put my time in, and this background is going to take forever. Okay, Wendy Ellis. My question is, what made you start coloring, but what makes you continue coloring or going from merely scribbling on a page to being a really awesome colorist? Oh, that's cute. So I explained what got me started. I basically continue coloring because I find joy in it. It's relaxing, you know, but I still have my days where I actually find coloring stressful, and if it's stressful, I just walk away. But for the most part, I've always just enjoyed doing it, and that's why I keep going. Crafting with Evie. She says, if just starting out coloring, should you get a big set of pencils or a small size? What do you recommend? So if you're new to coloring and colored pencils and you want to like kind of find a brand that's right for you, because every brand has its own little quirks and stuff, and we all have our preferences and style. I would recommend going and buying a couple of open stock if available, and in color combos that you can try and see if you like how it feels. You can actually go to Blick and they have little test papers. You can actually take a pencil and like scribble it out and see if you like how it feels. If that is not available, or it's like a set that's not open stock, then I would always recommend buying the smallest set. However, I have full set syndrome, so I always just buy the biggest. But I don't recommend. Don't follow my lead there. I would start with a small one to test if you like the brand. Once you like the brand, you can always go bigger. But here's the thing, in reality, you don't even need like the 150 Prismacolors. You can mix colors, but that's, of course, do you want to mix colors? I don't, so no for me. T. Cormio. Name 3 coloring supplies that are on your wish list. Name 3 that you kind of regret purchasing. Okay, so 3 that are on my wish list right now are Crandash Pablos. Oh my gosh, what else is on my list? Oh, Daniel Smith watercolors. There's quite a few of those I want to try. And then the Art Spirits watercolors. Oh my gosh, I want them all. They're so pretty. So those are 3 on my wish list. 3 that I regret buying. Well, as you guys know, I regret buying my Holbeins. They just didn't work out for me. No, I'm not saying they don't work for everyone. They just did not work for me. Another one would be, honestly, my Castle Arts. I am not the biggest fan of the Castle Art pencils. They just weren't, they're not what works with my style. They're too dusty and all that. A third one I regret buying. Trying to think. What would be a third one that I kind of regret purchasing? Oh, well, I kind of regret buying the 520 Brute Fooners just because I know I really won't use them. But in all seriousness, the comical nature of it makes it hard to be like, oh, I really regret those. So would I buy them again though? No. All right, Cami Decker. I am new to coloring hair and skin, with skin being the most challenging. So what would be your top pick of pencil for coloring skin? And out of that pick, what would be the color combo you choose? So I've colored skin in Prisma and Luminance and Polys and my 120 square Brute Fooners. I like using Prisma preferably. That said, I had really struggled with combos with the Prisma because Prismas are very peachy and pinky, and it's kind of hard to get over that. However, I did just do a live stream with Karen Valentine, and she showed her Prisma method for a Caucasian skin tone. So actually go back and watch that because we have her combo there. One thing about skin tone combos though, it's really hard to just give you a combo because it's all in the face, where you're going to lay that color down. And sometimes you end up not using every single color because the contours of the face really dictate what colors you need to use. So keep that in mind when people have skin tone combos out there. It's a very loose thing, and also you have to kind of know where to place it. The combo only takes you so far. Okay, Feeling Puzzled. I like that name. Do you ever buy more than one copy of a coloring book so you can color the same picture multiple ways? Yes, but I don't actually buy it for that purpose. I sometimes buy it for collector's items, like all of Clara Markova's. I almost have 2 copies of each because the shipping is ridiculous and I don't want to go back and buy more. I have multiple copies of Erie's books, simply because I had first gotten them when I was new to coloring and I kind of want to redo them now that I'm better. Hannah Carlson, I have a couple doubles of as well for that reason. I plan to get multiple copies of Flowerscape because this version I am coloring cover to cover only using Prismacolor. It's my favorite book, favorite pencil, but eventually I want to go back and use other pencil mediums. So yeah, I do have a couple. Let's see. Okay. Jessica Erasmus, her question was, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? We've kind of already gone over that with my daughter and all that. Oh, I'm going to butcher this one and I'm so sorry. Yakias Mahendra Raj. what are your favorite budget-friendly art supplies? I really like the 120 square Brute Fooners. I'm not gonna lie, they're very impressive for what they are. Holy moly. Watercolor wise, if you're looking for a budget watercolor, I recently found the Art Whales thanks to Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, and they are incredibly impressive and very cheap. What is up with that? They even have the pigment info, which most budget brands are like, no. And then budget markers, if you're looking at markers, I do like the Ohuhus. Yes, they don't have the foam rubber nib, but they are very pretty and they work out pretty well. Let's see, Tracy McDonald, how many coloring books do you have and how do you store them? So I just got a few more, and I also just gave away some. I've been giving away some books because, well, I'm running out of storage room. Speaking of storage, I have a bookshelf in my office. It's got 3 shelves that I guarantee I'm over the weight limit on. But hey, you know, let's live life dangerously. I just broke 300. That said, I also have a stack I am giving away to my daughters and a family friend, so it'll probably drop back under 300. I had done a fall haul that kind of pushed me over, and I have some pre-orders coming that'll bring me right back up even after I give them away. But yeah, right now they're all on a bookshelf. Once my art studio is done, I'm probably going to get a second shelf or one of those cubby things. I honestly don't know. I'm trying to think of how to store them better. Marcia Folks asks, has your channel grown so much that you have to plan, set goals, and schedule your time like in a planner for coloring, for YouTube, editing, uploading, and all your other various platforms? I admire your ability to stay organized and efficient and consistent. Yeah, I mean, as it's grown, you know, I've had to plan things out, but I actually don't, like, I have a list of requested videos, but I avoid creating a plan. Like, I don't go, I must film this week. I don't want to do that because I don't want this to feel like a job. So whatever, you know, wherever the wind is blowing me that day, that's where I go. That's why sometimes it takes me a few months to do reviews. But I do, like, you know, kind of try to plan out a to-do list. Like, I want to try and film these this week, but if I don't get them done, I don't get them done. I do have to set aside time for editing. I've been trying to cut back on how much I edit just to save some time and sanity. I do have a planner where I write down ideas and then kind of, you know, brainstorm. But yeah, like I said, I basically, on Monday, I sit there and go, okay, what kind of videos would I like to film this week? And those are just goals, but I don't want this to feel like a job. So I do as minimal goal to-do list as possible, and kind of just, like with my color palettes, fly by the seat of my pants. So let's see. Oh, gotta switch pages. We're on page 10 of 33. Ooh. Closet entrepreneur, what made you decide to do a channel and how did you finally get started? So starting a channel, honestly, as my coloring style developed, I kind of, you know, realized, like, I'm a heavy-handed colorist. I'm not the layering type, but I've been able to get a lot of my pencils to work with my style. And so I just wanted to start teaching people my way of coloring. And honestly, just kind of have some fun. Like, I honestly didn't expect it to go anywhere. I definitely never thought I would have 4,000 subscribers. So it definitely turned into something I hadn't even planned, but really it was just kind of, I wanted to share my love of coloring, because most of, like, my friends and family around me personally aren't into it. So I can't really share that with anyone here. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna try YouTube, and that's kind of where it began. Veronica Backlund asks, how long have you been coloring? So yeah, like I said, probably close to 6 years with my daughter. Kelly Arisil, what are the top 3 books you haven't ever colored in but would love to do so? Or just the number 1 most anticipated that you have owned but never colored in, if 3 is too many. Gosh, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I have a couple Maria Troll books that I really, really like and I haven't colored in. But I wouldn't say there's anything most anticipated. I wish I could say there was one. But yeah, I can't really. I did just get some Molly Harrison ones, though, that I'm actually really, really excited to color in. It's her very dark grayscale ones. So right now, as of today, those are ones that I can't wait to dive into. Okay, Kristen Hinojosa. I'm so butchering these names. And I know this Kristen in person. Sorry, Kristen. What's something you've wanted to do in life but haven't yet? That is a good one. Well, I've always wanted to run a marathon, but what's funny is I actually hate running, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Maybe I'll walk a marathon. I enjoy walking. But another thing is I've always wanted to travel to Italy, and I definitely haven't done that, but it's on my bucket list. Let's see. The Juice-matic says, when can we see your face? I do plan to do a face reveal one day. Don't you guys worry. I'm never gonna like promise a day or time, but it is on my list. I had thought of doing it for my 4K giveaway and my channel announcement, but you know, life just gets in the way, and us women have to put on makeup and do our hair before we get all up in a camera. So I will do one eventually, though. Don't you guys worry. Okay, Lauren Jones. Do you feel pressured to finish pages you thought you liked, but you got halfway through and didn't enjoy it as much because there are people watching? Yes. There's actually been quite a few pages I've started on my channel for tutorials or color alongs, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when you do that, it kind of kills the fun of it. You're no longer coloring for you. Sometimes you feel like you're coloring it for others. So I'll either just take a break, or, you know, most of my color alongs you guys see, I purposely start filming them a week or 2 before I actually plan for the first part to come out. That way, if I kind of get frustrated with it, I can abandon the entire project or just save it for later and it hasn't already posted, so that you guys aren't kind of just left waiting months on end for me to finish it. Terry Magrum, let's see. My question, do you watch any ASMR videos? You know, I've kind of checked them out here and there, but it's not something I watch a lot. It's more something I just like have accidentally stumbled across. And then let's see. Okay, Easter Ellen would like to know the story of my YouTube journey, how you decided to do it, what it was like in the beginning, how your channel grew, and what you would consider landmarks so far. I hope that counts as a multi-layered question. Well, I kind of explained why I started it. Honestly, when the COVID lockdowns happened, because I started mine in January and then COVID lockdowns happened in March, I didn't film at all during those. I was kind of just overwhelmed and depressed. So my channel, I really didn't start filming until September-ish regularly. But, you know, I just kind of filmed what I wanted to film. In the beginning, it was kind of rough because it's weird to start talking to a camera. I'm socially awkward, so talking to a person is even harder, but talking to a camera is kind of weird at first. You're like, I'm talking to myself, to a camera. So some of my earlier videos, I'm a little more awkward. I say and a lot. And some people on YouTube have been kind enough to be really nice and rude and let me know that how annoying that was. So it's like, well, you know, we all got to start somewhere, and no one's first YouTube video is amazing. No one's, but most of us understand that. However, it was rough at first. As for how my channel grew, I don't know. I really don't. I'm just posting my content and having fun. And kind of like I said when I did the announcement video, I hit my 4K not even a month after hitting my 3K, and I was just kind of in awe. But yeah, all I've been doing is posting the videos I want to post and just being myself. But I can't really tell you how it grew other than, I guess you guys are the better ones to answer that. But I don't know about landmarks with my channel. I mean, it was awesome when I got my first 1,000, kind of feel like an official YouTuber. But after that, it's just been kind of, you know, every time I hit another 1,000 mark, it's really awesome and humbling at the same time, that so many of you enjoy my content and all that. But what I enjoy the most is sharpening in your ear. Just kidding. What I enjoy the most is just interacting with everyone. The subscriber count to me is amazing, but really it's the interaction. The more of you that have joined and interact is really what is making this fun for me in the long run. Let's see. Gina Struble asks, will I be doing more with Inktense? Yes, I do plan to. I've had quite a few of you request that, so don't worry. I was going to do one last month. It just got a little busy, but that is on my list. Gail Hart wants to know why I prefer Prismacolor. The Prismacolor pencils, for me, I love the color variations. I think it's one of the most balanced color palettes out of the pencils out there. I mean, I love the French grays. I just love how they have light blues. There's a lot more pastels in Prismas than people realize. It's just overall well balanced. I love how the pencils work. You can layer with them, despite what people believe. I'm always shocked when people are like, you can't layer with those. I'm like, wait, what? Yes, you can. I don't, because I don't like to. But they're versatile. They can be layered. They can be smushed. Smushed is my favorite. Like, they work on most paper, including Amazon CreateSpace, which you all know I'm not a fan of. But if I must color in CreateSpace, I'm going to break out some Prismas. So it's that, you know, they're a versatile pencil. I'm very comfortable with them. I love how you can just make very fun off-the-wall color combinations, and they're really affordable. You know, dare I say it, they're like a budget pencil to me, because compared to the other ones I have, like I break a Prisma, I'm not crying over it. I'm like, it's only $1.12. I got this. But yeah, so there's a few reasons why. Louise Williams, my question is, what is the thing you hate most to color on a page? We've kind of touched on that a little. There's nothing exactly though that I hate. It's just kind of, sometimes I'm not in the mood to color certain things. So it really depends, but I could never say there's like something I just straight up hate. Let's see. When Scarlett says, what's your long first name? Oh, yeah, so I go by Corey, but my first name is actually, it's just Coraline. It's not super long. That's like 8 letters. But yeah, in our family, we don't have middle names, so we have longer first names. It's a Danish thing. Just like I'm trying to make sure these ones have questions. Johanna Villanobulis asks, oh, Prismas are a little out of my budget. Can you recommend a budget-friendly colored pencil brand for someone like me? And how do you de-stress aside from coloring? So if Prismas are too expensive, you know, the Brute Fooners are a good one. They are oil-based though, not wax. In the wax realm, gosh, you know, I'm not really a fan of a lot of the budget wax pencils. I'm not gonna lie. Artezas are okay, but I find them too waxy, just way too waxy. And they smell like a crayon. So that said, here's the caveat that you guys need to keep in mind with budget pencils. First off the bat, yes, I could get 120 Brute Fooners for 20-something dollars, but once I run out of that one color, the only way to replace it is to buy another set. So I just spent 20-something dollars to replace one pencil, maybe even 5. Say I ran out of 5. I still just spent 20-something dollars to replace those 5. Prismacolors, for example, are a pretty hefty upfront investment, but from there on out, I can go buy it open stock. And that's the thing you have to keep in mind is what is that pencil going to cost you in the long run? If a budget pencil isn't open stock, which most aren't, Arteza are, but their price per pencil is just, well, it's stupid. Don't buy it. I can't even believe they're getting away with that. But yeah, I mean, you have to consider the replacement cost in the long run. But if the sticker shock is what's getting you, you know, you could always buy a smaller set of Prismas and then buy open stock to build up from there. Kind of like what I'm doing with Copics. I didn't buy all 358 Copics at once. Oh my gosh, that would be nuts. But, you know, or the Amazon Basics really aren't that bad. I don't mind those. But budget pencil wise, I mean, the only one I really stand behind are those 120 square Brute Fooners, but they are oil based, but they're just so creamy that you can kind of use them similar to a Prisma. Not like a Prisma, similar. Okay, and then how do I de-stress aside from coloring? Honestly, coloring right now is about the only one I have. I love to do watercolor, but I have to also be ready to sit down and, you know, break out all my watercolors and get ready for the mess. And often by the end of the day, I don't have time for that. So usually it's just the coloring. Okay, now, Inda Prima Donna asked, which colorist that inspired you the most? The one that made you want to be a colorist. So Julie's passion for coloring was the first colorist I saw on YouTube, and she actually taught me a lot about my Prismas, and it's kind of inspired me to keep using them. Stephanie Napolitan asked, how do you decide on your color palettes? We kind of already touched on that, so I'm trying to avoid like repeating the same thing. But yeah, like I said, I pick one thing I focus on, and then I pick the colors from there. Amy Loves Coloring asks, what do I enjoy besides coloring? I like to read. Occasionally I'll play video games because they're kind of like a nice break from reality. And, you know, I like to do watercolor art, but at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to what do I have time for, so I end up usually coloring. Julie's 7612. Oh, no, there was no question on that one. Nikki Hughes, which pile is higher, the colored in books or the non-colored in books? It's definitely the non-colored, because I have quite a few books, just not a lot of pages colored in them, and I am trying to change that, which is why I started that book collection series that you guys will be seeing pop up on the channel. Valerie B asks, other than coloring, what is your favorite thing to do? I mean, coloring is my favorite thing to do, but I do love um, spending time with the kids and, you know, kind of, and my favorite thing these days is just vegging and doing nothing. But really, it's hard to say because coloring really is my favorite thing to do, and I wish I could do it more. I don't even have time in the day to get most of what I want done. Let's see. Claudia Rainsmith would like to know, what are your other favorite coloring books? So I actually just did a video on my top 10 favorite coloring books. So instead of relisting those, check that video out. It wasn't too long ago. I did it for National Coloring Book Day, but I had listed like some of my favorites, such as Gnomes in the Neighborhood by Denise Klett. There was a Maria Troll one in there. So yeah, definitely check that out because I actually just listed all 10 of my favorites. Let's see. Grandma Ree's Scrap Shack has asked, what do you plan on using your junk journal for? I just actually finished filming the unboxing of the junk journal that she sent me, which is amazing, by the way. It's like a work of art. And seeing some of the swatches in there, I might actually kind of use that for kind of like storing watercolors and just like art ideas, and kind of just let it be like my creative brain dump journal, I think is what I'm going to use it for. Let's see. Ren Kelly, if you could buy anything craft related supply, what would you buy? Gosh, I think I've bought it all. You guys have seen my hauls. I mean, I would love to finish my Copic collection, honestly. I would love to just buy the rest of them and get that thing done and over with. Let's see. I'm trying to look through because some of these didn't have questions. Okay. Oh my gosh, this name, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this. So I'm just going to go by the name Isney because there's a whole bunch after it. But how do you deal with your money in order to buy art supplies? I do have a full-time job that pays me pretty well. I do have to work quite a bit to do it, but you know, I use that, and I do set a budget every month. And then of course, any money I make from my channel goes into purchasing supplies and covering like overhead costs associated with my channel. Believe it or not, running a YouTube channel is not free. You get into editing software and programs like that, like my Duo streaming. So it all goes back right into the channel. But yeah, I kind of just set a budget, and then of course anything I make from the channel goes right back into buying supplies I need or want to play with. That's how I do it, I guess. Bloomin' Happy, do you have a type of picture that you favor to color? For example, do you prefer coloring flowers over buildings? I kind of touched on this. It really honestly depends on my mood. I can get into a full-out portrait kick and want to do nothing but portraits that month. I have at other times where I just want to do like really heavy grayscale images. So I never have like just one or the other. It honestly depends on the day. Juanita asks, how do you pick your color palette? So we've kind of already gone over that. So I'll kind of just skip that one because I think I've answered that like 3 times now. Let's see. Okay, Okori's Girl, do all of your family and friends know about your YouTube channel, and do they know just how much we all enjoy your channel and think you are very talented? That's a very sweet and cute question. My friends and family do know about my YouTube channel, but it's just not their cup of tea, so they don't actually watch it. that was kind of one reason I created a channel, was hopefully to reach those who enjoyed that, or it was their hobby too. But yeah, my family does know about it. About the only one in my family that actually watches it and is just like super excited about it is my daughter. Okay, Lori Ares, have you had any formal training in art? I wouldn't say formal training. I did take a lot of art classes in high school, including like painting and photography, but I didn't like, ever study it in college or go to art school or anything like that. I did attend an artsy school, but it was for culinary and not art. Shell's coloring journey. We have all splurged on something at some point that we regret. Oh shoot, hers got cut off. I'm gonna mark an X so I can go pull that one up. So hang on, we'll get back to hers in a little bit. Moira Michaud. How long have you been coloring, and how many sets of colored pencils do you have up to this date? So we've kind of already gone over what or how long. Colored pencil sets, gosh. I should have sat and counted. I know when I did my last collection video, it was like 22 sets. And since then, I've bought like 3 or 4. I'm definitely under 30, so I'm between 25 and 30. Stacy Ridley, have you ever finished a coloring book? I have not, but this Flowerscape one will most likely be the first one I ever do. Victoria Cotton, do you do your own art? Yes, I do watercolor art, and I know you asked if you could see it. I do have a bunch in my basement storage. I'm hoping when we finish my studio, I can put it on display. So I can't really break any out, but I am starting my watercolor Wednesdays, so you'll start seeing more of that on my channel. Corby123, what are your top 3 illustrators? Let's see. Well, I like Maggie Antarios, the artist who has done this one. Mariola Budek is another of my favorite. And I'd have to say Denise Klett is one of my other favorites. Her stuff is just fun and funky. Diane Ferris, what is your favorite place to color at? Well, I like to color sitting in my bed. For some reason, I feel very creative and relaxed there, but now that I'm doing more watercolor, I kind of have to force myself to sit at my desk. I may start trying like my dining room table or something. I just don't want to accidentally get something on it because it's so pretty. Or start trying to color like on my deck now that it's not like 500 degrees outside and I won't melt in the process. Oh my gosh, when my Prismas melt. So yeah, right now it's there, but Megan Poacher, do you prefer coloring during the day or night? I honestly wish I could color all day at any time. I really love to color in the morning with coffee. It's just the problem is I've got to get up, I got to get everyone ready. So I don't really get a chance to sit down and really enjoy it. Although I did notice I was happier and more productive when I would sit there and color with my coffee instead of watching TV or whatever. I tend to watch like YouTube in the morning with my coffee as of late. But I'm actually thinking of starting the day just coloring with some coffee, and then but my fear is that I won't want to actually like go do my work after I do that. I'll just want to keep coloring, but it would be great to start my day that way. Melanie Dorsey, what is your favorite book to color in, and do you prefer busy coloring books or no? If you're talking busy like Kirby Roseanne's busy, no. Those just overwhelm me. But like this page here is a very busy page, lots of patterns, lots to do, but I enjoyed this one. So it really depends on the context of what's busy. I don't mind a big old floral scape. Let's see. Okay, I'm just seeing. That one doesn't have a question. Joyce asks, you obviously enjoy floral illustrations. Are you also an avid gardener? I wish, but I kill all living things, Joyce. So no. But maybe once the drought is over out here and we plant our yard, who knows? Maybe I will. DD Battle asks if I can do a color along in a Coloring Heaven magazine. Yes, I can. Maybe you guys can suggest some Coloring Heaven magazines, and I will definitely look into that. Creativity by Trisha. I've heard you say that you used to do watercolor. Is there a reason you use pencils more often? I did watercolor years ago before I got into adult coloring, and it was just kind of a hobby and just, had some fun. I didn't have kids. It was kind of just relaxing to do in between wedding cakes, because that's what I did back then. So when I got back into when I got into adult coloring, I went with pencils because, it's not like I could take watercolors to the hospital or while sitting in bed recovering from a C-section. So pencils just made more sense. But they're fun. Let's see. It's hard because some of these aren't really questions, but I guess could be questions. Todd Budgel, I hope I said that right. I'm new to adult coloring books, and the one thing that I don't get is how to get different colors together. I know it's not really a question, but I'm still going to kind of answer it just in case. But really, the best thing is to get a color wheel and start with the basics of color theory, or use Sarah Renee Clark's palette picker, and kind of go from there. That kind of teaches you, and then eventually you just kind of get an eye for it, or a preference, because some of us just prefer certain colors with certain colors, and that kind of helps build your skill. Excuse me. Diane Ellis, your enthusiasm is addictive. My question is, did you color as a child? I did, but not in an art way. I mean, and I wasn't really big into it. I was more into sports and all that stuff as a kid. I colored, here and there, but not much. Okay, that one's not a question. Let's see. Jenny Newman, unofficial question, what sharpener do you use? Because your Prismas didn't even break with that beautiful long tip. That's just I just use this AFMAT sharpener here. And it actually works really well. And then her actual question for the giveaway, what, if any, countries have you traveled to on holiday? None. I have never left the US, but it is on my bucket list, and I have a whole list of countries on that list. So one day. Tracy Dawn Colors. Let's see. Oh, not entering. Okay. Sarah Simi. Who do you find teaches you techniques and why? Oh, so she says, my question is kind of a selfish one. And then it says, who do you find teaches you techniques and why? I say it's selfish because I want to learn from them as well. So I learn a lot from Chris Chang's videos. Hers are really sped up, so you want to slow them down. But she does some really cool things and teaches you how to use your Prismas, especially if you want to layer your Prismas. When it comes to watercolor, I actually learn a ton from Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter. She's just amazing with watercolors. Again, Julie's Passion for Coloring was the first YouTuber that I actually watched for coloring, and I learned a ton. I get so happy when she posts new videos just because it's kind of nostalgic for me. But those are some really good ones that I've learned from in the past. Let's see. I mean, there's so many good ones out there, though. So if I'm not naming people, don't think they're not good by any means. These are just some of the biggest ones that have taught me a lot of what I know today. But there are tons of talented people out there. So I would just suggest going and like looking all over, because there are little gems, and I have made plenty of friends here on YouTube, and they are all very talented as well. We all have something to learn from one another. It would be impossible to list everyone. Let's be honest. Marina D'Angelo says, what pencils and what book would you bring on a desert island? I'd probably bring my Flowerscape book here and my Prismacolors. That's easy enough. Let's see. Sorry, I have a bunch without questions. Sonnet Labouche. I'm just totally butchering that last name, so we'll say Sonnet L. What made you decide to start a YouTube channel? So we kind of already went over that, you know, the reason for that one. But yeah, I was just kind of wanting to share my passion. Mandy Art 2002, what are other hobbies you enjoy? I kind of, like I've already, you know, said, I do like to read, play games, whatchamacallit, watercolor, sketch, all that kind of stuff. I really want to get into photography. I just need to save up and get that camera, but yep, I kind of have a mixture of hobbies there. O2 Bon 2R, which I totally said wrong, I'm sure. What has been your favorite and least favorite ages so far with raising your kids? That's funny, because with each kid they had their things. My son had terrible 3s, which were just, well, awful. My daughter, you know, current age right now, 9, has been a gem, and I hope you pick up on the sarcasm. Just the diva-ness. And then, like, my youngest actually was just her first couple of months, because she had colic really bad. So that was a really, really rough and trying time on my life. Let's see. Jennifer Jenkins, what is your favorite Prismacolor combination for flowers or leaves? For flowers, I don't want to say specific colors, because there's quite a few that work for this, but like with flowers, I always love to take like a pink, a light pink, and a cream. Those are one of my favorites for Prismacolors to use, and there's plenty of pinks you can combine. And I always use the cream to soften it out, and then occasionally add like a green. My favorite for leaves would have to be Kelly Green, Pale Sage, and Cream. Actually, that's one of my favorite leaf combos. It's very light and subtle and very pretty. Quite Colorist asks, who and which coloring tutorial did you watch for the first time? It was a Julie's passion for coloring. Shoot, what was she coloring? It was a page out of an Erie book that I didn't own at the time, but I kind of just watched to get an idea of how to work with Prismacolors. But I remember it was one of the romantic country ones from Erie that she was working in, which actually prompted me to buy those eventually. The Rindy Ray, what kind of equipment do you film with, and do you use special lights? Most of the time I film with my phone. I do have a 4K webcam. I also use, I do have a Monster light ring that I use on occasion, but not often, because I have a lot of good natural light, so I only use it to supplement. And then I am working on upgrading everything, though. I want to get a second light, a different webcam with a better zoom feature, and that, or actually just get a DSLR camera and film with that, because I really want to get into better photos and photography, and they have 4K filming with those. And then I also want to upgrade to an actual mic, because depending on what I'm using, my voice can sound a little different. My phone has honestly been my best recording device. It's the most consistent. It's just with live streams, it really sucks. Let's see. Jean Blythe. Which of your fellow colorists, artists, oh, hers got cut off too, so I'm going to make an X and we'll come back to hers. Maria Wilson. It's weird that some got cut off and the rest expanded. I don't know why. I find that weird. Maria Wilson, my question is, I know your kids are sporty, but are any of them showing signs of being artistic? So yeah, my 9-year-old is very artistic. She sketches things that I'm just like, holy moly. She's gonna pass me up. So I would say that one is. The rest, not so much. Valentina Gravati asks, will you be doing a face-to-face video anytime soon? Your voice is very nice, but it would be nice to, basically put a face to the voice. I will. I do plan to do it. You know, showing your face on camera is not the easiest thing to do. It's pretty nerve-wracking. I know quite a few colorists and YouTubers have done it. I do plan to do it. You guys just have to be patient with me. I'm a very socially awkward person. I turn red, like bright red, very easily. So it's a really big step for me to do, but I do plan on getting there one day. Lisa Ennis. Does my husband ever color with me? No, he doesn't. It's not his cup of tea whatsoever. So no, he doesn't color with me. Melissa Juliana, what is your favorite flower on the Flowerscape book? Ooh, that's a rough one. Let's see, let me brush that off real quick. I'd have to say, gosh, I really like that spread, actually. And those look like, well, roses? That looks like a peony. But that looks like a rose. Oh, it's a hybrid tea rose. Excuse me. I hope I'm not coming down with what my son has. Let's see. Excuse me. Yep, peony. The peony, but that's also my favorite flower, so semi-bias on that one. Greta Morhay asks, work, children, coloring, your channel, how do you do it? I don't know. I wish I could say lots of coffee, but I can't drink that anymore because I get ulcers. It's just, I guess, years of working from home and working for yourself. You kind of develop this ability to create a routine that makes it all work. But don't get me wrong, there's some days it's very chaotic. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I basically take advantage of any time that I have. If I do have free time, I use that time to film, which can suck because sometimes that means my day off is just filming, but you gotta sneak it in when you can. So it can be daunting, and excuse me, as my kids' soccer kicks up, I may not post daily. I mean, I never intended to be a daily poster anyway, but I definitely see a slowdown of content, like back to, and by slow down I mean back to like a normal range of like 3 a week type of thing. But I don't know how I do it. It just happens. Let's see, that one got cut off, so I need to look it up. Nancy Mensch, if you could never use Prismacolor pencils again, what would be your next favorite pencil? Probably my Inktense. I would probably use my Inktense, to be honest. Let's see. I need to put that on to this side. Yvonne Talbot, what would be your dream country to visit? Italy. That would be my first on my list. Let's see. Excuse me. Jeanette Regimball asks, do you sometimes use Crayola? Yes, I do have some Crayola Escapes and Signature. You'll actually see those next month, or by that I mean October. for the C, the letter C of my alphabet coloring challenge. But other than that, I don't use them often. Barbara H., what is your favorite outdoor activity? I am very boring and I'm not an outdoorsy person. Drives my husband nuts. But I honestly, like, I like to just go out and like kind of sit and soak in the outdoors. I don't like to hike, but I wouldn't mind hiking to where I could just sit and chill. But yeah, I'm not really a big outdoorsy person. I'm from California, where we just go sit on the beach and call that an outdoor adventure. So living in a state where there's like, hiking and tons of all this, I'm just like, I don't do that. But yeah, kind of boring there. Mona asks, how do you do your fingernails, or what do you do to get your nails to look so pretty? I actually don't do my nails. I have a gal that does them, and she's an artist in her own form. She does awesome work. I kind of give her ideas, or sometimes I have nothing and I'm just like, hey, here's the season, you wing it. And that's what I normally do. Definitely do not DIY that. Let's see. Amber Nicole, back before starting your channel and when you first realized the internet aspect of the coloring world, which colorist artist did you watch regularly, and what was it about their style that drew you to them? Well, like I said, I watched Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, Julie's Passion for Coloring, Chris Chang. Back then, there was not a lot of people doing adult coloring, to be honest. Only the last couple years have more popped up, and this year, especially after COVID, have you really seen like a ton. But back when I first started, those were really the only ones I had to watch and learn from. And then there was a ton of channels that kind of just disappeared. Like, people posted a couple videos and were never seen from again. But yeah, more of my learning came from watching artists and not people coloring. So I had to watch like artists using Prismacolors or polys and learn those techniques and then try and reapply them in a coloring book. Let's see. Okay, I am the spirit. How do you balance everything and have a job too? Since I've restarted my coloring hobby, my house has been a bit more neglected. I hear you on that. Yeah, like I said before, I think just years of being self-employed, I've kind of developed this ability, I guess, to get things done, but by no means am I like 100% got it together. I mean, there's days my house looks crazy. Well, okay, my idea of crazy is not most. A crumb on the floor to me is just a disaster. But that said, I don't know. It's just been years of kind of conditioning myself. Let's see. Oh, that one got cut off, so I need to look what that one is. That one doesn't have a question. Okay. Robin asks, what is your favorite Prismacolor pencil and why? So it's the aquamarine color, and just because teals in general are my favorite color, and I like that one. It's very bright. It's a very soft, because some Prismacolors are a little harder than others just based on the pigments, but it's a very soft, creamy, lovely color. So it's my favorite. Let's see. Audrey Shaw asks, did you used to color as a, I'm gonna kill this word, bairn? It's Scottish for child, and continue into adulthood, or like me, start later in life? Yeah, I never colored as a kid other than like just general, here and there type thing. But really, I didn't get into this type of coloring till an adult. Hanneke Van Houts asks, if you could pick one color to use on a drawing, only one, what would it be? I think we've already covered that. My aquamarine color. Hilda the Adventurer asks, do you plan on doing book illustrations specifically children's book. Do you mean, I'm on that one I was kind of confused. Do you mean drawing my own illustrations or coloring children's book illustrations? Because I know there's some colors that take like children's book ones and turn them into adult ones. I don't really have a passion for that. Like I said, I struggle to even color in the Disney books. I know, I'm such an outcast. So if that was what you meant, then probably not. And if I ever plan to illustrate like a child's book, if that's what you meant, probably not either, just because it's not really my style. Marie Eve Martel, what is your favorite medium to do a background with? Pan pastels. I find they're really easy to apply. You can blend them, make some really fun gradients and different mixes, and they just are way easier. No, like having to worry about blending. Sue Harlow. My question for you is, what are your favorite images to color? Kind of like we've already talked about. I really do like to color everything. It just kind of depends on my mood. So Hester asks, are flowers at the top of your list for coloring? Kind of plays into everything else. Yeah, flowers, I would, it's all about my mood. I could really be into portraits one day and, flowers the next. So no, they're not really at my top. The Lenny 109, what is your favorite budget alcohol-based marker? I want to get into them, but I don't want to invest in Copics. So the Ohuhus aren't bad. It's just the nib kind of sucks. But it is reversible, and they are a one and done marker, so you have to keep that in mind. But Ohuhu isn't bad if you're talking budget, especially when they have those lightning deals or those Amazon Prime deals on their big sets. Wow, it's a cheap set of markers. But again, they can't be refilled. I know people refill them with the Copic ink, but you're putting Copic ink into one that does not have a Copic nib. So you're kind of shortchanging yourself there. At that point, you might as well just buy a Copic. But yeah, those ones aren't bad. I haven't tried Arctics, but I know I've heard good things about them. They're on my list to try. Same thing with the Art and Fly ones. I've heard really good things about those, but I haven't tried those. But I have tried Ohuhu, if you want to give those a go. Okay, let's see, Sprucker Mom. Are any of your family members artistic in any way? Well, like my brother-in-law is an artist and photographer. He's not into adult coloring, but he is into, art and photography. And then, of course, my daughter is really into art as well. But outside of that, not really. Okay, and then Color Crazy. Do you have a favorite color? Blue, red, etc. Also, do you have a favorite color pencil? The top one from all the pencils you have. Not the most used, just a favorite specific shade. So I already talked about my favorite colored pencil color. But in general, my favorite color is Robin's Egg Blue, also known as Tiffany Blue. That's my favorite color. Then let's see. Books in Every Room wants to know how long I have been coloring, which we've gone over, so almost 6 years. Okay. I'm trying to see. MJ Bezavi asks, I was wondering about the amount of ink tints for a starter, or is the full set best to start with? No, you don't need the full set of ink tints to start with. You can get the smaller set for sure. Because the thing is you can actually mix them on a palette and create your own colors. So you don't really need that entire set. I just have full set syndrome and I have to buy them. Louise Williams. Oh, no question. Sorry. Black Tigress asks, do you consider yourself an artist? I do. I actually get kind of annoyed when people say people who are colorists aren't artists. I kind of find that derogatory. And it seems to be such a controversial thing, which is kind of silly. But I'm sorry, if you create something, you are an artist. Like it's literally in the dictionary. So I do consider myself an artist. And even if I didn't do watercolors and sketches off to the side, I still consider myself an artist because I am creating something here. Now this artist created the line art for me, but I have created this. So if I'm not an artist for doing all this, well, then what am I? I mean, yes, I am a colorist. Colorist is the new term. But that said, I think I addressed this in a video not too long ago. I really do not like when people tell those who color they aren't artists, because I don't know if you've seen some of the things people color, but it does not look anything like that original picture. And if they're just tossed off to the side as colorists and not artists, that's a shame, because they are making some genuine, amazing art. So yes, to not go off on a tangent, I do consider myself an artist. Jennifer Bickerstaff asks, who is your favorite illustrated? I think she means illustrator. So right now it's the book I'm working in, Maggie and Terios, but I also have a really big love for Mariola Budek. Her work is just stunning. Aisha, do you have a least favorite color? If so, what is it? Ooh, that's actually a good one. Least favorite color. Is there... You know, I don't think I really have a color that I'm just like, ew. I actually really enjoy all the colors in my pencils. Even like some of the browns. I guess I know one of the least used in my Prismacolors is the neons. I'm not really a neon fan, so I guess neon colors in general would be ones I'm not super thrilled to break out. Let's see. Dean Martin asks, what is your favorite color? So I've already talked about that. Pencil-wise, aquamarine. In general, just robin's egg blue. Victoria Cotton, my question is, which coloring book that you own would you consider your guilty pleasure or you don't want to admit you love? That's a good one. I wouldn't say I have one that's like a guilty pleasure. Or one that I'm like, none of my coloring books am I ashamed to admit I own or love, really, because I love them all. So I don't really have one. But the question was stellar. I love it. I just wish I could say there was one. Raina McMahon asks, what is your favorite watercolor brand? Let's see. Right now I'm really digging the Paul Rubens, but I really want to try the Daniel Smith. I did get some M. Graham, and I've been playing around with those, and those are really fun. I really like those M. Graham, and I like the Paul Rubens, but I want to try Daniel Smith because I've heard so many good things, and I worry that might become one of my favorites. So right now it's kind of a tie between my Paul Rubens and M. Graham. And the reason I say a tie is I only have a couple M. Graham tubes, so I haven't had as much time to play with them, whereas my Paul Rubens, I've got two 48 count palettes to play with. Let's see. Debbie loves to color. What is your favorite medium to use? Colored pencils these days, I mean, especially if we're talking coloring. And then, of course, we all know my favorite pencil would be Prismacolor. McCare, what is your favorite type of video to record? I actually really enjoy the Whip Wednesdays, their color and chat videos. So there's no pressure. I'm not like teaching. I'm not having to pay attention to my hand placement, my camera, my lighting. It's just me chatting and coloring. So there's a lot less pressure with those videos. And then second to that would be my hair tutorials, just because I really enjoy coloring hair. But the Whip Wednesdays are by far my favorite. I know not everyone loves to watch color and chats, but they're actually very therapeutic for me. I look forward to every Whip Wednesday because I can just work on a page and it's like I'm chatting with a friend, and sometimes it actually helps me finish a whip that I would otherwise probably not touch. So like right now, this is really helping me tackle this background that is just going to take me forever to do. So yeah. Sharelania, if you could only choose one style of coloring book, what kind would you pick? Ooh, style. I would want to pick one that was with portraits, to be honest. Because I feel like all the different faces and the varieties of skin tones and hair colors you could do would probably keep me entertained more than if I just did florals. Heather Lewis, you have mentioned before that you have social anxiety, so I'm wondering, was it a hard decision to start a channel, and if so, how did you basically how did you do it? Yeah, it was hard at first because, like I said, I was kind of talking to myself to a camera, and also I was very nervous. I'm like, who's gonna watch this? What if nobody watches it? What if people are mean? Because I've seen the comments on YouTube before I started my channel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can handle that. So it was pretty nerve-wracking, but I just kind of sat down one day and was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna record my first video, and if a bunch of people are mean or it doesn't get really good, views, whatever. And I just kind of went from there. It did take a lot of time to get over the fact that I was just talking to myself to a camera, and, kind of like channel yourself and picture yourself in front of an audience, because obviously people are going to watch and listen, but at the same time you're like, I'm still talking to myself. So it took some time, but I can't say there's anything specific I did other than just diving in and doing it. Let's see. Ellie Franken, do I prefer wet or dry mediums? Well, in coloring, I prefer dry because of the buckling and the mess. And like I said, sometimes I want to sit and color in bed, and obviously I can't break out watercolors for that. So yeah, I would have to say dry. I think that one didn't have a question, but let's see, that one didn't have a question. Federia asks, which of Johanna Basford's books is your favorite? I'd say World of Flowers. I do really like Worlds of Wonder, but I think I'm leaning more towards World of Flowers lately. Worlds of Wonder was fun and quirky, but yeah, I'd have to say World of Flowers. Jeanette asks, what is the most used color pencil in your stash? So the cream in my Prismacolor gets used the most. I actually buy cream in sets of 12 because I use it so frequently for everything, anything and everything. My Coloring Corner with Renee. Why is Flowerscape your favorite book at this time? I know someone else asked that question too. Yeah, so there was one, Kelly Lynch also kind of asked why it's my favorite, and because she didn't see a lot of differences between other books. So the reason I like Flowerscape is I like the style of art. I've heard people compare this to Johanna Basford. This is not like Johanna Basford at all. I don't get that vibe at all, but that's to me. Always just claim that. And some things I really like are the fact that she will have the, the flower here solo, and then it's incorporated in a bigger spread next to it. I love that they're labeled so you can practice realism. I think these double page spreads that she has created are absolutely stunning, because look at this one here. It comes across and it has this huge open space for a fun background or leaving it white. But the flowers in that double page spread, you can practice right here before you tackle them here. The detail work is unreal. And again, here's a single flower incorporated into a full spread. I love that it's sewn together instead of glued. The paper quality is stellar. I just like her style. I know there's bloom, flower year, and all that, but all of those are much more different. I mean, look at this one. This is gorgeous. This does not remind me of Maria Troll. Maria Troll or Maria Trolle and Johanna Basford have very different styles than this. Their flowers are different. You know, the flower year is a lot teenier and more intricate, and it's broken up by seasons. But I do find that this book is unique in the way it's designed. And like I said, I own all of those other books, but none of those I've ever gone, I'm going to color cover to cover, whereas this one I am. So there's something about it. So that kind of answers two people's questions, Kelly and Renee. Let's see. My live-in color. My question to you is, are you workout? I need to pick up doing a sport. I color too much. Oh, so do I work out? I say I will every Monday. I have been going on walks with my neighbor since the kids are back in school, but outside of that, no. I need to, though. If someone can figure out how I could color while walking on a treadmill, let me know. I'd be down. Nick asks, how much time do you spend daily coloring? You know, it honestly depends. On a really busy day, sometimes I'm like squeezing in 10 minutes of coloring, like while water is boiling on the stove. Other days I'm so busy I don't get to color at all, and I'm extra cranky those days. And then on the weekends I could spend several hours. Just kind of, it really depends on what's going on with work, kids, and all that. Janine Johnson, how old is your dog and the dog's name? So the infamous escapee or escape artist is Scout, and she's just over a year. Huskies are little terrors for the first 2 years, and then they chill out. So I got a little ways. Pikachu 651, what is your least favorite coloring book? It's kind of some of my Kirby ones, his older ones, and the mythographic ones are kind of my least favorite, but I still buy them because some of the artwork is just stunning. I just hate those objects. Like, why? Take them out, and then these books would be so amazing. Let's see a question there. Patricia asks what pencil sharpener I use. I use the AFMAT. I did a video on it on my channel because there was some concerns about it eating up your pencils, which it does not. And sticking to that story. Let's see. I am with Spirit. Let's see. It says I added my question to my reply. Oh, I might have to look hers up because it's not showing up. Amy says, what is the first coloring book and medium that you used and colored? So I kind of already went over it. That Color Me Cluttered book, and then just some cheap set of 150 pencils that honestly I don't even think it was a brand attached to it. Which Mom Davis, do you ever do stamping or watercolor stamping? Would you do videos if you do? I do watercolor stamping now that I've gotten back into stamping and stuff. My lovely friend Ryan has exposed me to all these cool new watercolor stamps that are out there. So I wouldn't mind doing a video of that for you guys. Let's see, Holly King. Oh, how did you and Ryan become friends? Ryan. So Ryan and I have been like secretly lurking in each other's channels since they began and just never saying hi, never commenting, just lurking and watching. Like we all do on YouTube. Um, and just one day, I reached out to him and said hello because I was like, I've been lurking in your channel a couple months. I thought maybe instead of being a creeper in the corner, I would say hi. And we just started chatting from there, and it just happened to turn out that Ryan and I have a lot in common. We're quite kindred spirits, and honestly, he's become one of my best friends in the world. Just because, like I said, we have so much in common. We can actually just sit there and chat on the phone for hours. We do once a week. We have our little chat fest where we'll chat for 2 or 3 hours, but it just flies by. But we just have so much in common, right down to even like childhood experiences, hobbies. He's a baker, I'm a baker. I used to own a cake shop. He owns a bakery. So it's kind of funny how we have so much like in common across the board. And so that's kind of just how we became really good friends. But yeah, it was funny that we kind of just lurked in each other's channels for a really long time. And then we're like, oh, by the way, hi. Okay. Diana D7759. Congratulations to Diana because she is winner number 2. So she gets a copy of Flowerscape, and I will be sending her an email. She did ask how many coloring books I have, which I did kind of go over. I just broke 300, but I'm trying to give them away. So and get it back under and get back to my 280 range. But congratulations to Diana as one of our winners. Okay, now art and craft with me. My question for you is, what is your favorite drawing? Please tell. Like my favorite drawing in a coloring book or PDF. That one I was kind of confused about. So I'm not really sure how to answer that one specifically. But if you do want to leave a comment below, I can answer it for you. Like I do have one of my favorite PDFs is something from Mariola Budek that I absolutely adore and colored. But I don't know if that's exactly what you meant. So you can totally correct me in the comments below. Shelly T. What art purchase were you so excited to get and then let down disappointed when you used it? That was definitely my Holbeins. I was super excited to have snagged them, and then once I went to actually use them, I was like, oh shoot. And yeah, still to this day. I'm still using them though, because I'm not going to be defeated by a pencil. Yasmin, how do you manage to have time to color, film, and run a household? So kind of like I said, I don't know. I really wish there was more hours in the day, because sometimes I feel like I'm rushing and something's being sacrificed somewhere. I do feel bad, like during the summer, I was just constantly filming and or working my actual job. I think it'll actually be easier to balance once the kids are in school, maybe. I think. I don't know. It's hard to say. Vampire Girl. What do you do if you find yourself in a coloring rut? Do you take a break and then get back into it, or you just switch to a different kind of coloring to sort of take a break before going back to the complex pictures? So yeah, if I'm not feeling it, I never force myself to finish a whip. So I have whips that are a few years old, and I may never go back to them. If I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to force myself just for the completion, because it'll totally show, and then I'll be disappointed forever that it looked like crap because I just forced it on myself. So yeah, sometimes I'll just put it aside, start something else. Other times I'll just pick up my mandalas and work on those. Sometimes that recharges me. Other times I'll grab alcohol markers and complete a page, because we all know markers, you can do a page in like a day. So you just feel accomplished and ready to go back to something more difficult. So there's a few ways. Oh, Oh, here's Naomi's question. So I don't need to go back and look up hers because it got posted here. Haha. Let's see. Her question is, what are your favorite elements to start coloring on a new page, and what are your least favorite? So the things you save for the end. It honestly depends on the page. So like this one, like I said, the flower stood out the most, and then I kind of started filling in the greenery to help me decide other colors. On a portrait, I tend to go for the hair first, skin very last. So those are some examples. Brooke Lawrence, what is one thing that you did when you first started coloring that you'd never do now? Probably, well, not shading and just color blocking everything. You know, but I didn't know any better. I was just going off of old school techniques because I didn't know what I was doing. So I would just kind of color it in or outline it in one color and use a lighter color on the inside, you know, like we do in grade school, because that was all I knew. But obviously I don't do that now. So that would definitely be one thing for sure. Okay, excuse me. So Jane Mays had asked, what is your best tip or resource or video, including for your channel, for watercolor pencils? I honestly haven't done a ton with watercolor pencils on my channel. Getting there, but I haven't done a ton. But I learned a lot from Lindsay the Frugal Crafter. She didn't do coloring. She just taught me a lot about how watercolor pencils work. And that's why I say sometimes the best things you learn are from non-coloring channels, because you can learn kind of the inner workings of that medium and then apply it to your adult coloring. So that's what makes it a little better, especially because back when I first started, there wasn't a ton out there, but I did learn a lot from her about using those. I have also learned from Color with Claire about watercolor pencils, but yeah, I haven't done a lot myself. Shell's coloring journey. So her question was about how we have all splurged on something at some point that we regret, and she wanted to know what I regretted, or what purchase I might have splurged on and regretted purchasing. So that would be my Holbeins. That was like a splurge. It was actually my gift to myself for paying off my car. So I practically used what a car payment would be to buy those things, and I was really disappointed in them, and you know, kind of wish I didn't buy them. That said, as I've said, I'm not going to be defeated by a pencil. I will most definitely persevere. Jean Blythe. Okay, so her question was, which of your fellow colorists or artists would you love to sit down with and have a chat, a long chat, and like get to know them and even form a friendship? Let's see. That was a really good one and such a hard one, because I would have to like pick an artist. First of all, I've actually already made a lot of good friendships with artists and colorists here on YouTube just by, you know, chatting with them and getting to know them at random. But like if there was an artist or something, you know, someone that is not as easily accessible, I guess, that I could get to know. Honestly, I would love to sit down with like Johanna Basford and get to know her, because she's just so quirky and cute, and the things that she creates and comes up with, I want to pick that woman's brain. But I would just love to get to know her. And she, you know, she is an illustrator artist. But as for colorists, there's so many colorists on YouTube that I've already gotten to know and become friends with, and really none of us are inaccessible. I think almost anyone who has a YouTube channel is there to chat. Even if they seem like a big channel, they're always there to chat with you and get to know you. So if you're ever afraid, just reach out. You never know. Okay, Tanya 513. her question was, what's the best way to get your coloring to look more realistic? Reference photos. If you really want something to look realistic, you'll want to look up reference photos. So like I kind of mentioned with this book, she gives you the name of the flower. I would Google a bunch of them and just plan on one. You might have to ignore some of the line art. Some of the line art, if you follow it to a T, is not going to be realistic. And then two, you'll just use those reference photos that you print from Google or whatnot and use that as your starting point to make something look more realistic. And it's going to take practice. You know, you're trying to copy something from realism into a coloring book, but that's honestly the best way. That's how I've kind of, anytime I'm going for something hyper realistic, I would do. That said, hyper-realism isn't my thing. Coloring is supposed to be fun and whimsical and, you know, a break from reality for me. So I don't really go for hyper-realism in my stuff, even when it's portraits. I want hair to look somewhat realistic, but not. Like I'm not going for something where you would go, oh my gosh, it looks like a photograph of that actual thing, you know. So to each their own on that, but yeah, if you're trying to go for hyper realism, Google is your friend. Okay, Star Patrick has asked who had inspired me to start my channel. So like I said, it wasn't necessarily anyone that inspired me. I was inspired by other colorists out there and their awesome work, but it was just more, I wanted to share what I have learned and my style. But I can't say there was like someone strictly responsible, and nor am I saying I'm like the sole creator. It's just no one pops off the top of my head as like the inspiration behind my channel. It was kind of more just all those times I was sitting there coloring and me being like, you know, I'd like to share this with someone who possibly appreciates the art or enjoys coloring as much as I do. Okay, let's see. We are almost there, I promise. Okay, so Craftin' Mama's question was, what was my favorite quote or motto? And I am really bad with that because I am more the type where a quote, I like quotes in the moment and I don't necessarily have a favorite. You know, like I'm really about those ones that just grasp you at the right time and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so perfect. But I've never had a quote that just totally sticks with me for life and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favorite. So I tend to, if I am having a certain mood, I tend to like Google quotes and see if I can find one that matches that moment. But really, I don't have a favorite one, which is pretty boring, I know. So Grandma Sherry was asking who inspires me, because she was saying that she's inspired to color by me. And she basically wanted to know who has inspired me to color. And I would have to say it's some of those first people I watched, just because I could see the potential of what you could do in a coloring book. And it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like traditional coloring. I wasn't just filling in lines. I could recreate the art and make it my own and have fun and relax. So all of those names I've mentioned before that kind of helped me learn how to color are all those who have inspired me to kind of color in the long run. Okay, I had to save for the best for last. Our grand prize winner, well, we have to answer her question, but also congratulate Dee Ritchie. She is our grand prize winner. That means she gets a copy of Flowerscape, but also she will get to pick between the Albrecht Dürer or Derwent Inktense. And let me cough right in the middle of that. But yeah, so Dee, I will be sending an email your way to get that info from you. and you can pick which prize you want. But everyone, please congratulate Dee, and let's get on to Dee's question, because obviously that's part of it too. So the question is, how has your journey changed? Do you find yourself preferring one medium over another? Do you find that you prefer a certain artist over others? And how has your taste changed over time? I love that the grand prize winner has a long question. So how's my journey changed? I've definitely seen a transformation, obviously, from how I used to color. I just have slowly over time developed my own style, to be honest. That's just kind of how it's happened. I do really enjoy colored pencils, but not all pencils when it comes to preferring a medium. And a certain artist, it's kind of, you know, some of my favorite artists I've already mentioned. And one thing that in my taste that have changed was portraits, because when I first started coloring, I wanted nothing to do with portraits. In fact, they scared the life out of me. I was like, no, I'm not touching that thing. And now I really gravitate towards them and enjoy them. So that's definitely a big change that has occurred. Okay, so we have hit the end, and I've almost hit the end of this page. Oh my gosh. I just got this corner to go, and I don't think I can handle it anymore. I will get there. But congratulations to all 4 winners. Congratulations, or not congratulations. Thank you to everyone who participated and, you know, asked questions or just left sweet comments, even though you didn't want to enter. I really hope I didn't miss anyone's question. If I did, I am incredibly sorry. I printed them all out, and like I said, a few got cut off and I had to go look them up real quick. But please know it was not intentional. So if I did miss your question, I'm sorry. If I miss answering your question, you were not omitted in the actual draw though, because I had a program pull from YouTube. I'm like always paranoid that like when I print it out, it didn't print them all out. But yeah, so I hope I got everyone's questions, and I do appreciate everyone participating. These Q&As are always a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed listening to the answers. And then, of course, congratulations to the 4 winners, including our grand prize winner, Dee. I will be emailing all winners here shortly to get in touch and get, you know, address information and get those books shipped out. I think only one of you was out of the U.S. I know my subscriber base is predominantly U.S., which I came to find out after looking at all the entries, because I do ask what the country is, and it was like all US. So I was like, oh, okay. So that, you know, made it a little easier. But yeah, so anyone who is a winner who's not in the US will get their book from Book Depository. And then those who are a winner in the US, it'll just come straight from Amazon. So Book Depository can take a little while, unfortunately, and they don't give tracking information, but we'll talk about that via email. But yeah, guys, again, thank you so much for supporting my channel, the kind comments, not just in this giveaway, but the comments that those of you who constantly leave on my channel. I really want to thank you for that. It helps boost me and, you know, gives me the confidence that I'm actually doing the right thing and continuing on and giving you guys the content you enjoy. So I really do appreciate that, and each and every one of you, truly, for all of your support. So I am going to end this video and get a lot of water because my throat is getting sore. I really hope I'm not catching what my son has, and that it's just that I answered 200 questions. But again, guys, thank you for participating. There will be more giveaways. If you did not see my video on upcoming changes to my channel, you might want to go catch that, because I will be restructuring some giveaways as well, and having some fun with that. But yeah, everyone have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks for hanging out and letting me color this and answer your questions. And until next time, take care.